Hello, good afternoon. This is the 2nd July 2020, and this is a video about the offshore industry. We have seen how this coronavirus has reduced the budget because obviously if the petrol price has gone down about 60-70% and then up again. And the consumption has been stable, so, but we have seen that we need petrol. Petrol is required. I personally don't know why so much ups and downs. I don't think this coronavirus, it is affecting consumption. If we are locked down, yes, but still we need energy. And at the moment, situation is stable in this respect. But so then, for the wages of the seafarers, we have, for example, that the captain is $7,000 and chief mate 5,900, chief engineer 6,900, second engineer 5,900, oiler 1,600, AB 1,600, and AB cook $1,800. We have these wages down. Previously, I believe it was up to $350 per day, which is much higher wages. The situation really does not affect the supply and the demand side because I believe that the supply and demand will be local. So if the platforms are, let's say, there, the crew will be from there. And this is what I foresee. The wages will be standard, as I mentioned. Now, our fee for this kind of ships is also very low, regarding 2% for fleets, and we are very competitive, my friend. And this for the offshore is very good, because people can start saying that because coronavirus, our fee will go up, because coronavirus, our fee will go down. Well, I don't know who mentioned that, but should that person be in the team? Not in my team. Who has the right of saying coronavirus this, that? Price of petrol, consumption, supply, and demand is as is. No one is going to change the consumption of energy. We can be more responsible and more ecological, and we can do whatever. But also now in the offshore, we are entering the wind and the energy, and also we are having some ships of fish farming, and I even had experience in clams fish farming in the past. And so, one way or another, this collateral farming, energy farming, it is interesting to know that it will continue. Will this energy farming be affected by coronavirus? Yes, because one prime minister says, okay, and you are listening to that. Very interesting. And thinking about it, well, that is painful, isn't it? But if we look at it from this side, then the wages of ratings perhaps will go down. Some countries have taken advantage of coronavirus to invest into training their own crew, their own people, to bring intrinsic value long term to their own countries, give jobs, give opportunities. If one direct job of a seafarer gets another 10 jobs, yes, each seafarer brings to your country 11 jobs, 11 families. That's all they do, seafarers. And the offshore, will it be affected? Is it the coronavirus a risk or not? Yes, well, it could be. But in the short term, because we are locked at home, because politicians do not know basic health rights of humans. And the judges, well, where are they? Ill? Yes, they are very ill. So this budget in the Spanish flag for the offshore fleets, it is very interesting. We have $7,000 for a captain. In the Spanish flag, we could be having 3,500. The advantage here, for example, if we look at it in the offshore side, is that if we go to the Spanish flag, instead of having $7,000 to one system, in some offshore fleets we have requirements also of Bossyet, Huet, and other emergency evacuation systems for offshore. But in this Spanish flag, as I mentioned, we could have 3,500 euros, two captains. Very interesting because they are back to back. So going back to long-term intrinsic value of the crew and the training of the crew also, as I mentioned in the bull carrier video, the advantages of the Spanish flag are huge. Disadvantages, of course, we have 6 ministries in the merchant marine. In Madrid, they are 600 kilometers away from salted water, even with waves. And these people will get drowned. I mean, they are a big problem. Don't take one of them to swim open waters, because you will not swim nothing. You will be doing sanitary work with them, and they will be a huge problem. So imagine if they go into merchant marine and the Spanish flag. I mean, this is very bad. And the only thing they know is to put fines if you do not comply with something, because this paper was not in time here and there, and this is a big problem. So this is the situation of the Spanish flag. The advantage is that the 7,000, for example, wage of master, and 6,100 of chief engineer and second engineer, 5,100 as well as chief mate. Then for the pricing of one, a flag of convenience, and the Spanish flag, we have to, how, if we negotiate, and I love negotiation, if we negotiate long-term career prospect with this chief officer and chief mate and second engineer, chief engineer and captain, top 4. Why? Because if we provide the 5-year career with them, then they will be very interested in the stability and having their families covered by this. And this is very important for the offshore sector. We have seen that ups and downs is not because coronavirus, it's not because the OPEP signs this supply and demand, the restraints, constrictions, and negotiations, and whatever external, non-transparent price, which do affect in the long term. But this video is for you offshore ship owners. You have to study how to maintain the stability. We have seen that digital means in this coronavirus are very important for the offshore. We have seen that the wages we had before approx are the same, perhaps a little bit lower. We have seen that there is other ways of research and development that we can improve in the prices, we can improve in the services. For example, digital means like this means we can provide replies to your specific questions. We have seen that previously local offshore and local crew was strategical. This will be very important. If you are a seafarer and you invest in the offshore, it is the best way. You can tie the knots, and therefore you will have less risk in the long-term intrinsic value to the income of your career. Yes, of course. You can go LNG, you can go chemical, you can go any other way. Yes, I understand, I respect. But being local, you will be able to get to your job and back home safely. With the Spanish flag is very interesting. Indeed, not many foreign ship owners understand, because in Spain, the most intelligent person is that person that something that is very simple, they make it very complicated. And that person goes to university and teaches others, and this is how they do. But in the intelligent countries also, something that is very, 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 very difficult, if you explain it very simply, then that is the intelligent person with a high IQ. And this is how the offshore sector is improving today, by investing yourself in very close by offshore sector. You will diminish the risk. Number one, flights, no flights. Number two, getting infected by coronavirus. Well, before it was also the same. This coronavirus has not really taught us nothing new, simply just something that it was with the cloud before. Now we are starting to see the sun and the moon and the stars, and realizing that the long-term career is the most interesting point of intrinsic investment for you ship owner. And the offshore sector will continue because it's not only strategic, it's the next step. If we don't have energy, we are not strategic, simply we are not. As simple as that, like Shakespeare. To be, not to be. Offshore is to be long term. We will have this kind of $397,000 budget. Our fee for a small offshore ship of say 7 crew is $8,400. Believe is roughly 2%, which is also available for fleets of say 10, 15. We need economies of scales. You will have all the bank accounts separated. You can audit any bank account anytime. All the contracts scales we provide to ship owner, and this is how we have been doing since that one. Captain Antonio Candina also started the same size of shipping about 125 years ago. This is Jose. Yes, my father is not there. Me is Jose number 3. And this is 4th generation. We are improving in the bank charges, endorsements. We have a budget of 1,260, depending in the type of flag. For example, as I mentioned, in the Spanish flag is 0. In the Spanish flag, COVID test is 0. In the Spanish flag, sanitary assistance is the great best sanitary doctors, nurses. Auxiliary personnel in the hospitals are the best. Unfortunately, they are managed by politicians that are very inutile indeed, but we have the best security for our health. I believe if we are intelligent and we look at the sanitary system and we take the politicians away, what they say away, what they do away, and what they manage away, we know our health is going to be the best. And this, I believe, is the most important side of the business. Now, in the short, medium, and long term, what I see that if you are a ship owner that has, say, in Africa, West Africa ships, you can contact us. I see that if you are a seafarer, you must invest in your intrinsic value, African seafarer, so that, for example, in this case, which could be in Asia, which could be in America, Europe, and you must invest in your intrinsic value, update your CV in Candina system, and ship owner, you can ask also your crew to do so, and then you will get 2% transparency. And we also have 2, well, in Candina we have 4 employers. We have 2 in Spain, which I invented the Spanish sandwich between Canarias and Spain. So then tax and supplies and blah, blah, blah can be employed from Peninsula Company Biscay Ship Management, doing in the Canaries, and the Canaries the same by Spanish Peninsula tag and offshore companies. That way, the VAT and the Egypt, which is the Canarian VAT, which is 7, and then in the peninsula is 21. Both have a conflict of interest, and you cannot fight one with the other. So that I invented the Spanish sandwich. And it is very interesting for offshore owners because no one has really put that tiki-taka ball into play. And reason being is that they have different ministries and they are all disaster companies, these public governmental companies. But they left this Spanish sandwich ready for you, ship owner, to understand. As I believe cash flow, it is a profit. A lot of people talk about profit and not cash. I'm sorry. They are wrong. I don't know what university, who is the neighbor teaching you that. No, cash is cash. Profit, I don't really care about it. Yes, elections, yes, well, yeah, I don't, well, yeah. So how much cash society has to buy bread and milk? That's all I care. Offshore, do they need energy? Yes. What are the wages going to do? I believe that it will be in the local area side. I believe that governments have to invest in offshore because it is going to be strategic. If I was in Asia, I would ask, please, kindly, the governments to invest into Bosjet, Hewitt, helicopter emergency safety and offshore safety, this firefighting and so and breathing, and this would be very interesting area for the local governments to invest. And if they need consultants or crew management companies like us to verify the compliance and so, then I would be very happy to do so also. But you have to invest the governments in the offshore sector. It is going to be here the long term. To make bread and milk, you need energy. So it is not essential. It is something before it was really born. And if you need health in the hospitals, in transport, and this, you need offshore. And if you need education, you need energy and tablets, and this is energy. And if you have security, you need energy to cars, to or drones, or this. You need energy, and offshore is what supplies the energy to all this. And that's why I see it is not going to be a problem. I hope that the market will understand the ups and downs that we have had in the past in the offshore are not really, say, intrinsic to the business, are external, and probably in the future, if some very intelligent or non like me see this video and understand that perhaps the ups and downs is not so. So bread is bread, offshore is offshore. A strategic, yes, before a strategic. So why does it have to go up and down like, I don't understand this. But this is the situation today. If you want a tailor-made budget about the offshore sector, it depends. Perhaps the ship is in La Coruña, the ship is in Sri Lanka, is in Singapore, is in Panama, is in USA. Let's say I studied in Texas, so it's in Houston, and is in whatever Sydney, whatever place that there is going to be developing the offshore industry, which will be very long term and very low risk from my side. Another thing is the speculators that jump around talking blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested in the long-term position, doing fleets direct for ship owner, zero risk, intrinsic value, compound to ship owner and to Candina, because we are exclusively crew management company doing offshore for many, many, many years. And I like the idea of little ships because I'd rather have 1,000 little ships than one big ship. one, risk. So that's another area I like very much about the offshore sector. Well, I do not discriminate if the huge ships also would be nice, but this will be of another video. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Bye.